Conversations in the Community. I'm your host, Dania Parker-Smith with parkbench.com, South London, Wortley. I'm also a realtor here in London with Team Forrester and New Vista Premier Realty. I'm here today with Dave Lamers. He is one of the partner owners of Abruzzi Restaurant here in London on downtown on King Street. And we're just going to learn a little bit more about Dave and the restaurants that he has in his portfolio. So welcome, Dave.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Dave, tell us a little bit about where you're from.
So I was born and raised in PEI. We moved here when I was 10 years old, and I lived in Ingersoll for a little bit, and then I did my schooling in Kitchener at Conestoga College.
For your culinary arts.
Culinary arts.
Right. So tell me a little about your journey into the restaurant industry.
So as a kid, I traveled a lot with my family. Part of the fun for me was getting to the destination wasn't necessarily always the destination, so I really enjoyed visiting restaurants and hotels along the way. We did a lot of road trips, so I knew that it was something that I really enjoyed and I wanted to get into.
Awesome. And so you have Abruzzi here down on King Street, but you guys also have a secondary restaurant, you and your partner Rob, right?
Yes.
And it's called Taverna 1331?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the differences between the restaurants, why you opened up a secondary location.
So the biggest difference between the two restaurants, this is more of a modern Italian restaurant, where Taverna is more an upscale pub or tavern.
Okay.
So the food's a bit different here. It's more Italian based there. It's a little bit of everything. The reason we went to that area in London was more so because there was an opportunity for us, one, and two, there's not a whole lot of restaurants and good quality restaurants out in that end of town, so we felt that there was a big need for it, and there would be a lot of support for it.
Awesome. And now we were talking earlier a little bit about your wine list that you have here at Abruzzi. Tell us a little bit about some of that and why it's special.
So all of our wines are consignment. We've visited a lot of the wineries. We've had opportunities to go to California, Napa Valley, Sonoma, Italy. We're very fortunate to try a lot of the wines on our list and travel and get to learn about the wineries and the process and the people behind it. And that's all means a lot to us.
Awesome. And being in this location right here down in the middle of everything that happens, what do you love about being right here in this location?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, the market's across the road. We have Budweiser Gardens. There's a lot of life. Before COVID, this was a hopping, very busy area of downtown London. And I hope that it gets back to where it was.
I know, I think people do miss that, getting out, going to a concert or a hockey game, and then going for an early dinner or a late dinner, right? That always makes life a little nicer,
yes,
right? And what is your most popular dish here at Abruzzi?
Number one selling dish at Abruzzi is the beef tenderloin on crispy gnocchi. It's been a staple on our menu pretty much since we've opened. And it's never changed, and it'll likely always be the same.
It's not even lunch, and now I'm hungry. So tell me about your journey into making these dishes become what they are. Who does that? Who's the brains behind all of that?
I do the majority of the menu at both restaurants. Really, it's the farmers and the producers that really dictate what our menu is. So a lot of our menu, especially here, is seasonal. So I've already sent out emails just yesterday asking what's coming up in the spring, what have our local farmers been planting, what should I expect, so that we can already start planning the menu now for the next menu change.
Who inspired you to become a chef?
I don't really know. Like I always joke around with my friends and family that I used to get my love for cooking from my mom and my love for food from my dad. So
good combination.
Yeah, I don't know. My dad loved to eat. My mom loved to cook. So
there you go. That always makes it good. I have a husband who's very particular about his diet. He'll hate me for saying this, but as a bodybuilder, he's very concerned all the time about the amount of food that he eats and the kind of fats and stuff they're in, and I love to cook. So I find it really frustrating when you don't have that pairing together, right? So tell me, are you involved like in any of the activities that happen in the downtown core? Do you ever get involved with some of these events and as a company and an organization?
I think not a whole lot. I mean, we've been involved in the figure skating championship, and we try and stay in tune. So if there's a big event coming down and downtown London has an information session or something like that, we're always involved in those. We always go to the meetings because we want to know what's going on down here too.
And if you go somewhere to eat, where do you go?
In London, we spend a lot of our restaurant hours out at King of the Pigs on Hamilton Road.
Yes, yes.
We love their octopus, and their chicken is great. And then we also frequent Vietnam on Dundas quite a
Okay.
bit as well. So we tend to support the smaller local restaurants that have something different than what we do here.
Right, awesome. Now you mentioned some of the figure skating championships. We do have a lot of hockey players and
Yeah.
stuff that come through here, concerts. Anybody famous?
We do get the odd famous person come in. We've done, Ty Domi's been in quite a bit, Rachel McAdams,
Of course.
Tessa Virtue. Michael Bublé is a big fan of the restaurant, so the last time when he was in for the Junos, he called the restaurant from his jet, and I drove food out to his plane at the London airport.
That's quite nice.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. Awesome. Well, that's great for us to end our time together. But thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I can't wait to bring my husband down here and we can enjoy some of that
Sounds good.
tenderloin that you were talking about, and the wine. We're big wine drinkers at my house. So thanks so much for joining me,
Thanks
and
for
thank
having
you so much for joining us again on Conversations in the Community. I'm your host, Dania Parker-Smith, with parkbench.com, South London, Mortley. Also, being a realtor here in London does provide me the privilege of helping people in their real estate needs. So if you are looking for someone to guide you through that process, I would be happy to speak with you. In the meantime, stay safe and be blessed.